Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Good evening, everyone. Not a good evening. Charlie Kirk, U.S. conservative influencer, major figure in the conservative movement in the United States, as I'm sure most of you are aware, has been shot and killed. It happened during an appearance in Utah. We're going to talk about it tonight. We may go to the phones. We have our voice from Detroit joining us as well, Joseph Leonard, author of Terror Strikes, who will share his views on this with us as well. And you can weigh in on the conversation too, both in the chat and whether you're on Rumble or Twitch or whatever channel you happen to be on tonight, you can participate that way, and we may go to the phones. I can tell you the latest information is that the authorities do have a suspect in custody, not the person originally arrested at the scene, who has now been cleared. It is someone else. I don't have that suspect's name, but we may certainly get it, and we will go to a news conference with police and show you what the latest is there as well. We have other news to talk about tonight as well. Where this all goes, I am not sure, because this is a developing story with Charlie Kirk. New information coming forth even as we speak, and we're going to stay on top of it together tonight as our coverage begins on the other side of this.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, first off, let's bring in Joseph Leonard. Hello, sir.
Hello.
From Detroit.
And as you saw, I sent out a terror strikes coming soon to a city near you update. The subject line, update, terror in Utah, Kirk assassinated. That's the right word, assassinated.
Okay. I've been thinking about it in those terms as well, like, was he just shot? What was this? Was this a political assassination? And I think that you may well be correct in that, but I guess we need to also assess what happens with this suspect. I guess they have just taken into custody, not the guy who was originally arrested,
No.
who I guess was cleared. Actually, I have video of that. Let me bring that up. This was from earlier this afternoon. What time was it when Charlie Kirk was shot in Utah?
12 something, I think, Utah time.
Okay. And then...
Or it may have been 12 Eastern time. It actually might have been earlier than that at Utah time.
Okay. And so this was the scene as a person was arrested at the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Get on! Get the fuck up! How dare you! Give it a minute. Yo, hey!
But we're being told this guy has now been cleared.
He is, my understanding, again, this is all fluid, right? So forgive us, fluid. My understanding, that guy was arrested so far charged with obstruction. He was part of whatever group, not sure which one yet, was there protesting, you know, the typical morons crying that Charlie is a Nazi. Well, Charlie Kirk is a conservative who wants less government. That is the antithesis of a fascist Nazi who wants all controlling federal government. That's you on the left want more, bigger, complete top-down dictatorial control from DC. Kirk is not an anarchist, however. No one I know, including Charlie, is an anarchist. We all want small, limited government, not no government. Anarchy is no government. We all agree there needs to be some, but constitutionally limited republic, not a mobocracy, ineptocracy, or kleptocracy.
Here's this is not live, just so you know. But this happened just moments ago. News conference with authorities, and we're going to let this roll to bring you up to date.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bo Mason, Commissioner.
Audio gets better, I believe.
Safety. Today, at approximately 12:20 Mountain Standard Time.
Oh, it was Utah time.
Charlie
12
Kirk
something.
was shot in an event at the Utah Valley University. He was taken by private vehicle to Timpanogos Hospital, where he later passed. The Utah Department of Public Safety will be co-leading this criminal investigation to find this killer, along with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're working in unison with the County Sheriff's Office, the local police department, and the University Police Department, all of which have been very cooperative and fully engaged in this process. Shortly after the shooting, we did have a suspect in custody, George Zinn, but he was released from custody after we identified that he did not match the shooting suspect and was not an accurate person of interest. However, he has been booked into the county jail by Utah Valley University Police Department for obstruction of justice. We do still have an active investigation for the person of interest. This incident occurred with a large crowd around. There was one shot fired and one victim. While the suspect is at large, we believe this was a targeted attack towards one individual.
And I have more info.
In our state and in our country. As we heal, we encourage everyone who is struggling with news of the incident to call 988, our state mental health crisis line. In addition to that, our partners with the FBI will also be discussing other ways we can communicate through the public for tips and other information. Thank you.
Suspect is in custody.
On behalf of the FBI, we extend our sincerest condolences to the family and friends of Charlie Kirk. Our thoughts are also with the people who witnessed this traumatic event. We know that.
Hang on.
And of course, it gets interrupted by a first shooter game. Oh, great.
Personnel from the Salt Lake Field Office responded immediately. We have full resources devoted to this investigation, including tactical, operational, investigative, and intelligence. To be clear, the FBI will fully support and co-lead this investigation alongside with our partners. We are working on setting up a digital media tip line, and as soon as it's established, we'll get that information out to everyone. I know there's a lot of questions. This is very much an active case, and this investigation is in its early stages. We are following all the leads and all the evidence. If anyone has any information, please report it to the FBI or local law enforcement. Thank you.
OAN has shown video of the actual
On behalf of
shooting.
President Tumenez, who we've been communicating with, and she's on her way back right now, I say that on behalf of Utah Valley University, we are shocked and saddened by the tragic passing of Charlie Kirk. We express our sincere condolences to the Kirk family. We grieve with our students, faculty, and staff who bore witness to this unspeakable tragedy. He was invited by the student group Turning Point USA to speak on our campus. We firmly believe that UVU is a place to share ideas and to debate openly and respectfully. Any attempt to infringe on those rights has no place here. We do not condone any form of violence at UVU.
There we go.
And seek to make our campus a safe place for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this dark and tragic occasion. I want to thank our law enforcement officers who are leading this investigation, starting with Chief Long and his response here with the UVU Police Department. We're grateful for your leadership and your team. And again, to the speakers that you've just heard from who are co-leading this investigation. I also want to recognize Sheriff Mike Smith, who has been an invaluable partner as this investigation moves forward. I've been in touch with President Trump, with FBI Director Kash Patel. We are completely aligned with our state and federal partners as we work through this case. Now, this is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination. We are celebrating 250 years of the founding of this great nation. That founding document, the Declaration of Independence, that this great experiment on which we embarked together 250 years ago, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. The first one of those is life. And today, a life was taken. Charlie Kirk was first and foremost a husband and a dad to two young children. He was also very much politically involved, and that's why he was here on campus. Charlie believed in the power of free speech and debate to shape ideas and to persuade people. Historically, our university campuses in this nation and here in the state of Utah have been the place where truth and ideas are formulated and debated. And that's what he does. He comes on college campuses and he debates. That is foundational to the formation of our country, to our most basic constitutional rights. And when someone takes the life of a person because of their ideas or their ideals, then that very constitutional foundation is threatened. Now, we have a person of interest in custody. The investigation is ongoing. But I want to make it crystal clear right now, to whoever did this, we will find you. We will try you. And we will hold you accountable to the furthest extent of the law. And I just want to remind people that we still have the death penalty here in the state of Utah. Our nation is broken. We've had political assassinations recently in Minnesota. We had an attempted assassination on the governor of Pennsylvania. And we had an attempted assassination on a presidential candidate and former president of the United States, and now current president of the United States. Nothing I say can unite us as a country. Nothing I can say right now can fix what is broken. Nothing I can say can bring back Charlie Kirk. Our hearts are broken. We mourn with his wife, his children, his family, his friends. We mourn as a nation. If anyone in the sound of my voice celebrated even a little bit at the news of this shooting, I would beg you to look in the mirror and to see if you can find a better angel in there somewhere. I don't care what his politics are. I care that he was an American. We desperately need our country. We desperately need leaders in our country. But more than the leaders, we just need every single person in this country to think about where we are and where we want to be. To ask ourselves, is this it? Is this what 250 years has wrought on us? I pray that that's not the case. I pray that those who hated what Charlie Kirk stood for will put down their social media and their pens and pray for his family, and that all of us will try to find a way to stop hating our fellow Americans. With that, we're happy to take a few questions.
The FBI director is posting that a suspect is in custody. I would just like clarification. Do you or do you not have a suspected shooter in custody?
We have a person of interest in custody that is being interviewed right now.
That is not George Zinn.
That is not George Zinn. That is correct.
Is there
Are you
any
still
indication
searching
for an
or
involvement?
looking for another shooter or anybody else related to this?
Yes, we are actively looking for anyone and everyone who has any possible information relating to this shooting.
Can you tell us details about the suspect being taken into custody? Where? How long ago?
We cannot at this point, but we will get you that information when we can.
Is there believed to be a second individual involved in the shooting?
At this point, there is no information that would lead us to believe that there is a second person involved.
Do we have a
Can you guys
description
talk-
of the possible shooter?
Do you want to talk about what we know there? Yeah.
The only information we have on the suspect, the possible shooter, is taken from closed circuit TV here on campus. We do have that. We're analyzing it, but it is security camera footage, so you can kind of guess what the quality of that is. But we do know dressed in all dark clothing, but we don't have a much better description other than that.
Where do you think the shot came from?
The shot came from here on campus, from a location at a
Roof.
potentially from a roof, yes. A longer distance shot from a roof.
So to clarify, with the security camera footage you have and the person of interest that's in custody, does that match up?
That's what we're trying to decipher right now.
So did FBI or DHS have anything on the threat board this morning?
I can't speak.
I'll just say that the investigation's ongoing, and as soon as we have further information, we will be sure to release it.
Any indications of foreign intelligence involvement?
As of now, I can't comment on any of that.
Thank you.
Can you talk a little about the security of the event itself? Who was there security-wise and what happens on these kind of events?
Chief Long.
So my name is Jeff Long. I'm the police chief here at UVU, and I'll tell you right now, we are devastated. We're a small police department. We have a very large campus. We have over 40,000 students, and we love our students. We love our visitors, and we're devastated by what happened today. This is the police chief's nightmare. I'm very saddened for the Kirk family. I know his wife and parents found out about this. You know, obviously he's away from home. He's here in Utah. They find out by a police officer that visits their home. That's tragic. Nobody wants that. But I can tell you about our venue today. This was an open venue. This was outside. We did have 6 officers working that event. We had probably over 3,000 people that were in attendance. It sat down in kind of a bowl area here on the central campus. We have a waterfall area. And so he was kind of in a lower area, surrounded by buildings. We had some plainclothes police officers that were in the crowd as well. We train for these things, and you think you have things covered, and these things. Unfortunately,
you're watching this live press conference from Orem, Utah. Normally, we were on the air with World News Tonight. We will join the broadcast in just a moment. I want to bring you up to speed on what we just learned. There is a person of interest now in custody. They are interviewing this person. It is not the same person that was taken into custody for a short period of time earlier in the day. That person has been cleared. Again, there is a person of interest in custody. They have no intelligence at this point to believe that there was anyone else involved as of yet.
Say the question again. I don't know if I understand what you're saying.
When Charlie Kirk was shot, he was answering a question about mass shootings specifically. Was that person apprehended, and do you know who asked that question?
I do not. We do not have that at this moment.
What has happened with you? Ladies and gentlemen, we have time for just one more question, so thank you.
Yeah, a question for the chief as well. Was it your team or Kirk's team, or a combination of both, that kind of set the security protocol for the event?
So we work together. He has his team, and they do this all over the country. We all know that. This is not uncommon for them. They're very comfortable on campuses, and I was coordinating with his lead security guy, and we were working together.
Was this a sharpshooter type shot?
Ladies and gentlemen, those are all the questions that will be answered today. Again, thank you for covering this. We will be updating you as soon as we have additional information through normal channels, working with law enforcement. Again, our deepest condolences to the Kirk family and to the students who were there today. I would just ask everyone everywhere to please pray for their family and to pray for our country. We need it now more than ever. Thank you.
Yeah, there are 3 people to be aware of here. George Zinn, who was arrested for obstruction, who was there as part of, we don't know yet what, not yet named identified group to disrupt the event. A second guy that they spoke to has been spoken with, the guy who asked the question of...
Can we pause for a moment? So the first guy, this is George Zinn.
Mm-hmm.
So what we heard in the news conference is that he was charged with obstruction of justice. So is there other information that you've seen that indicates that he may have known the shooter? No.
Okay. It continues to be the speculation that he was just there as part of the group to disrupt, but not part of
like
like a Occupy Wall Street, Antifa, Code Pink,
right.
He was not, as it stands now, as they're saying, charged with or considered part of a broader conspiracy to be a decoy while the shooting would then take place.
Yeah.
The second person who asked Charlie the question when he was assassinated about mass shootings, what I don't have his name, was spoken with, is also considered to be cleared and not part of a greater, broader conspiracy to assassinate Kirk. It's still speculation, and we don't have his name, but OAN has, there was a guy on the street who was live streaming officers as they arrested the shooter. Literally, the guy in black with a hat, long hair, white guy with a bolt action rifle, not an AR-15 or anything advanced, a bolt action, likely single shot rifle that's in custody for the assassination of Kirk.
Here's a new video. I guess
that's not a great one, but it shows where he was.
Well, this is about, this apparently has something to do with another person being spotted on a roof. Is that what you're referring to?
No, this is where we're assuming at this point, this is where the shot came from.
Well, there are people who have video of a person running and laying on a roof. So let's
get right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
See, right
you would
there.
Think that.
Yes.
So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying?
Huh.
He just ran from over, where's my finger? Whoa. From over there, ran in, and now he's right there. Just saying, just getting right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that.
Were you able to pull the video from OAN of the arrest of the shooter? One America News, OAN.
Yeah, but you mean a different one than the one I showed?
Yes,
already?
Not this.
Well, I'll look for that in a moment.
Yeah.
So here's this, and there's a picture of the guy on the roof right there. See?
Yeah.
Right there. See that little tiny black dot?
Yep.
That's a human being.
But they're still saying they don't think there is more than one shooter.
So now, so you say OAN has
One America News, yes.
Must be other video of this. So this is the arrest of the guy that they're questioning, who is the person of interest.
Yes.
All right, well, let's see if we can find that video tonight as well.
Yeah, it's a guy on the street was live streaming. Now they're replaying the video, was present when several officers were taking a white guy dressed in black. They took off his jacket. He's wearing a white shirt, but he had a black jacket on it.
I have that video here.
Okay.
Not with his dark clothing on, but as he's being arrested in the white shirt.
Right. The black jacket has been removed at that point.
Okay, here it comes. Excuse me. This is so this is the arrest of the suspect, we're told, in the shooting of Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. No name released here as of yet. And at this point, this suspect, we're told, just being questioned, a person of interest.
I think they just found the guy right outside of Carry On. A rifle on this dude's dash, and they just handcuffed him.
Full of stuff, whatever's there.
Yeah. Keep rolling. You'll see the gun in a minute.
Do you see his gun?
an officer will come and screen holding the gun.
Why would he need green
Tape?
rules, tape, plastic?
See, there's the gun.
That's his rifle.
Okay. Just let's get another look at that suspect. So a white male, it's got to be about what, 5'7", 5'8", not very tall.
Yeah, not exceedingly tall. Seems to have long hair, although it's hard to tell with the hat still on him.
Kind of curly. How old would you say he is, Joseph?
I don't know that we get a good enough view. I'm guessing 40s, 50s, but we don't have a good view.
No, I think that's probably accurate. In his 40s or 50s. He's got some gray hair.
Yeah. Can you get a pause on that gun? The gun only comes into view a short period. There he is. There it is. See it? Yeah. There it is.
So
that's not an AR-15. It's not an assault rifle. And assault rifle is a misnomer. AR stands for Armalite rifle, not assault rifle. So, a knife, like the guy killing the Ukrainian chick with the knife. Was that an assault knife? Because he used the knife to assault. That's an assault knife? Can we stop with the stupid and the language? I just released a video exclusive earlier today, too, about origins of language and use and abuse of language. Oh, there's a really good.
Any idea what kind of gun that is? I don't know. I'm not into guns. I don't own guns. I'm not a gun guy. I know a little bit about guns, but I'm certainly no expert, so I wouldn't want to misspeak here.
Yeah, I am definitely not an expert. I am not good enough of a gun guy. People on TV who are certainly more around the various types of guns, indeed calling that a single bolt action shooter rifle, more like a hunting rifle. Definitely not an AR-15. Definitely not an AK-47.
No, it's looks like it's some sort of a single shot.
Yes.
Rifle. It's like not a shotgun, like it's a rifle.
Yes.
And like full disclosure, I do some work for a company that sells guns. I just do website work for them. So I do look at a lot of images of guns. I own and know guns. And this is one of the biggest companies in the country that sells hunting equipment and camping equipment and hunting rifles.
Yeah.
So I do work for them. I just edit photos for their online website.
Yeah. And again, people who do know better that I've seen talking about it on the news, also adding, it looks like the Butler shot attempt on President Trump, then candidate Trump, about 150, potentially 200 yards away. You don't have to be a Navy SEAL you can't have just gone to Walmart, bought a rifle, put a scope on it, and make that shot the next day. You have to have handled a gun and taken some practice with a gun to make that shot, but you don't need to be a sharp shooter, so to speak, to make that shot.
That
There's
shot
a better
was taken
view
from, we're told, somewhere between 100 and 200 meters away.
Yep.
depending on where it may have come from.
Yeah, there's a pretty good shot. I think maybe you're right. He may be closer to in 50s because it does appear to be graying in the hair, which would probably make 50s rather than 40s. But let's say somebody twice Charlie's age, most likely, assassinated him.
Well,
yeah, we don't know his name. We don't know direct political affiliation. Let me go. This is not a gun issue. I mentioned the guy who stabbed the Ukraine girl. This has nothing to do with the object. The gun did not pull its own trigger. The knife did not stab the woman. We're talking about evil people using an object to murder with. It's not the object's fault or problem. It is a issue, although we don't know, this guy may have no prior record, unlike the guy who stabbed the woman, who had 15 previous arrests, should have been in jail, not on that train to stab her to death. But point being, if we actually locked up criminals, we'd have less of this. Someone usually, though, doesn't go from zero to murder overnight. There's usually a rap sheet and an escalation. Usually. But again, I'm speculating. He may have no priors. But usually, statistically, majority of all crimes are committed by a small, usual repeat offender over and over who escalates to murder.
So, did you hear the audio that came out today of the of DeCarlos Brown, the guy who killed her? Did you hear that and what he said?
Yeah.
About
I
the
got that
material
white
in his
woman.
body?
Yeah. Oh no, I didn't hear that. But I heard,
listen to this.
I heard the racist motivation. I got that white woman, but of course, CNN and the
Got that white
MSNBC.
woman.
Oh,
I didn't hear anything
no
about
racial motivation at all. No, he only said, "I got that white woman." It's
that.
on tape.
Where did he say that?
You should be able to find the video of it.
I'll look for that in a moment. This is weird what I'm about to play. If you haven't heard this yet, folks, this is DeCarlos Brown, who killed Irina Zarutska on the public transit train in Charlotte, North Carolina.
And before you show that, I don't care if it's black on black, white on white, Smurf on Avatarian, blue on blue, or interracial. Lock the people up. Period.
Well, listen to this. This is disturbing.
So you said something in your body did what?
Nah, the material, put it like this, the material used in my body to stab the lady.
So he's claiming he was a Manchurian.
No.
And so she just got stabbed.
Yeah. You know that's not me. I'm talking about just for no reason. But since they did that, now they got to investigate the material my body is supposed to. Since they want to do all that, now they got to investigate.
It's funny because she's from the Ukraine. She's from Russia, and they got a war. They had a war going on against the United States. So I'm just trying to understand. Out of all people, why her?
It ain't. I don't have nothing. They just lashed out on her. That's what happened. They lashed out on her. Whoever was working the material, they lashed out on her.
So he's claiming he's Sirhan, and the CIMK Ultra activated his programming, and he just stabbed the nearest woman. That's his defense, apparently.
I'm inclined to think that something's whacked, and that may have some truth to it, though, Joseph. I'll tell you why. Because as I go through all of these crazy assassination attempts, and now the Charlie Kirk King, which I don't know where that's going, but then this thing with Irina Zarutska, there is a common thread that runs through all of this stuff. And when you read the manifestos of these crazy people, it's like they're all very similar. They all seem to have the same kind of narrative in it. And this guy, if you take a step back, keep an open mind, this is what I think is largely driving some of this. Maybe that's the case here, and I can't say for sure, but this fits what I've been saying here for the past year and a half. People are too much drugs. You give somebody with a mental health issue to begin with drugs, then you sit them in front of a computer. In some cases, where the algorithms are feeding them constantly stuff the stuff practically drives me crazy. And some people question my sanity, and justifiably so, given the subject matter we deal with here in terms of politics every night. And it is literally enough to drive some people crazy. You combine that with mental health issues, drugs, and then constant drip, 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 or maybe just information overload on conspiracy theories, crazy, just wacky politics, stuff that people can't explain, and maybe even targeted messaging aimed at certain vulnerable people. Now, that would be a bit of a conspiracy, maybe, but I don't think it's far-fetched because the technology is certainly there. And then you take a guy like this who is watching way too much Alex Jones and thinks that he's been injected with nanoparticles.
Oh, this guy's got nothing to do with Alex Jones.
No, I'm just saying, look, people believe this stuff. I went to a garage about a year ago, very level-headed guy as far as I knew, who I've been dealing with him for a long time. I won't tell you his name. I won't tell you which garage. He's a mechanic, and I was having a conversation with him one day, and he said to me that he watched a video of people who had been injected with the jabberoonie, and they all had the what do they call it, the graphene oxide particles and nanoparticles injected into them. And then he saw this video with all these people with their heads blowing up, and he believed that it was because of the 5G. And he believed it to be true. And he's like, that's what's happening. All these people, one of these days, they're just going to turn that 5G on and everybody's head's going to. This is a guy who's otherwise pretty much sane. So I'm just saying that you take somebody like that, yes, that may be the thing that triggered him. Like MK Ultra, or just inadvertent, taking information that's just twisting his mind around. It's not a healthy environment out there. Political division, polarization, radicalization, different political groups trying to radicalize people, way too much drug use out there, mental health problems to begin with. Then you subject them to this constant barrage of crazy stuff on the internet, from people with lizard brains to going down into tunnels and who knows what, and they're nuts. I think it's literally driving some people nuts. And so, yes, is that a defense? If he's not mentally stable, then he might not be fit to stand trial. He may be certifiably insane. And that in itself is, he's now, crazy people. Crazy people made it even crazier.
Again, though, 15 prior arrests.
Yeah.
He should have been in prison.
Oh, no doubt.
That train.
Yes, 100%. And that's a systemic problem.
Yes.
Where you have to, you're kicking people with mental health issues out back onto the street where they're a threat to the public.
Most mental health medications, even those you see on TV, say right in the ads, may cause suicidal ideation. Not usual that you'll kill somebody
could be
else,
all kinds of different medications,
but that you'll kill yourself.
I can't say. I don't know what drugs he may or may not have been on, but I just see,
we do know.
I think it's worth looking at. We need to look at this stuff.
been in mental health facilities and released. So he likely was indeed on substances.
Oh, probably.
given to
Yes,
him.
I think so.
I
Yeah.
don't doubt that at all. If it's an MK Ultra
And
thing
listen,
or
listen to
just
the and
bad
listen,
medicine, I
that
don't know.
that is what that's how they administered. Well, that's how they conducted the MK Ultra experiments. It was LSD, shock therapy, repetitive messaging over and over again. Now you don't even have to bring the people in to into a hospital or a lab. They'll willingly take the drugs, and then you can just target them using simple technology on the internet to feed people whatever you want to feed them on the screen. You can literally, and these are very powerful tech companies, it's absolutely 1,000% possible for people to be fed specific videos, specific information, where they even think that they're choosing to watch particular kinds of material when in fact they're actually being fed stuff online.
There's a great movie, Julia Roberts and Mel Gibson, Conspiracy Theory. Great. Is what you're saying possible? Yes.
Oh, it's 100%.
Is that the case here, or is
don't
he
know.
just trying to use that as a insanity defense? I don't. Is it
I don't
possible?
know.
Yes. Is that the case? Don't know. I doubt it, since he's had the 15 priors.
15 priors, and I think also there were indications that he had mental health issues before. He may well believe it, and if he believes it, then that's true in his mind, and then he's doing it because he's nuts, and he's maybe been driven nuts through the drugs and the constant exposure to information that is just exacerbating, making his mental health issues worse. And then he gets on this train, and he's just triggered, and does, I don't know, man, but but it's not good out there right now. It's not good. I get depressed watching stuff online.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
So,
I do too.
you know, if you here in Canada, you know, cannabis, it's legalized, right?
US in most places. And today, the cannabis of today is not like that of the 60s,
I don't
70s,
use it. I
and
can't
80s.
say, but I hear about it, and I see what's going on
It's
in communities.
1,000 times
No, this
more
is
potent.
and LSD and prescription meds, and you know, half the population's on some sort of an antidepressant. I don't partake in any of it. I try to keep my mind clear. The most I do is, you know, consume a little bit of caffeine, maybe too much, to stay awake. But other than that, you know,
I have a prescription of Xanax sitting right over there. I only take it on occasion when my body literally gets to the point where it's shaking, and I have to take it to physically calm down, not necessarily mentally calm down.
yeah, because you have you know, some medical condition, right?
I've got many medical conditions, yes. But yeah, there was a point where I was on Xanax all the time, and I went through the withdrawals of coming off it, and I will never let myself get in that position again. And I know, indeed, from those years, the paranoia and the whatnot that does set in. But I didn't murder anybody.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I think you're sane. Yeah, it's the politics out there. Did you see the video of the actual shooting and assassination? The full video?
No, they showed it early on. They're not refusing to show it now. I don't know that I want to. I don't know that I need to.
I've seen it. I don't think I'm going to run it. I think probably YouTube would probably censor that.
Obviously, it's going to be used in evidence, but we don't need to see it.
It is very graphic. I mean, it is I would say it's the most graphic shooting footage I've ever seen, like from anything in history, anything I've ever seen, is just like multiple angles, people shooting this on phones. It's a sign of the times. It's it shows where we're at with social media and how we're living. People are worried about living in a surveillance state. Talk about a surveillance state. Everybody has a phone.
By choice.
It's not,
We're
yeah, that's right.
surveilling ourselves.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right. And so here's this event, and you have, I don't know how many angles are out there, but I've seen 3 so far that are like very, very vivid, clean shots. One from, a side back angle, one
Every
straight
angle.
on, which is like the most graphic thing I've seen, I think, ever in terms of like reality. And it looks like something that was produced in a Hollywood studio with an effect, because it's so graphic, and it's more graphic than what I've seen, like artificially produced. It's so graphic that it can only be real. Like, I mean, when you look, there's no doubt in my mind when I'm saying that's not AI. That is absolutely real and horrific and gross and terrifying.
Let's take a second
Yeah.
to mention a couple statistical. Charlie Kirk, 31, wife, 2 kids, assassinated.
And too much of this going on out there. Too much polarization, too much division, too much fighting, too much on all sides, as far as I am concerned, and too much violence now.
You may go back to the Sarah Palin using the target. Yeah, the left has done it forever too. Political targeting in a campaign that's been used. Maybe it's too far and we need to stop doing that. But it pales in comparison to the incitement of violence and literal fascists who want federal dictatorial top-down control government, who call everyone else a Nazi, inciting others to violence. People like Kirk, again, wanted less government, not more government, like you fascist leftists. I don't see a comparison between the left and right.
No?
There may be an occasion right on the right. And indeed, for any one person on the right who does something stupid,
I don't
I
know,
can show
Joseph.
you
I think maybe have
999.
maybe not complete blinders on, but I think maybe you're wearing glasses that aren't allowing you to see things through a lens of clarity.
When was Kennedy assassinated by a Democrat?
Now you're going down the right track. Yeah.
Reagan attempted assassinated by Hinckley, a Democrat. JFK, RFK, Lincoln, all assassinated by Democrats. When has a right winger politically motivated
JFK
shot
JFK?
Someone?
You're saying JFK
Oswald was a leftist communist.
Maybe. It depends on how you view it. But he was a Democrat. All right.
Yeah. And
yes, Malcolm X.
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X
Jr. Yeah. Trump, the 2 attempted assassinations.
Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Exactly.
Okay, like targeted
leftists.
Martin Luther King was a leftist.
No, Martin Luther King Jr. was not. The one who killed him was. Show me a right-winger registered Republican
you just
put forth a manifesto who assassinated a Democrat.
There are lots of incidents of people on both sides. I'm not buying this. I've seen other people coming online tonight too and saying This is there's only violence on the left, none on the right. Yes, there is. It's on both sides. Yes, it is.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it is.
is.
In
Yes, it
Canada,
is.
Jean Chrétien, former prime minister, he was targeted, attacked with a knife. That was in 1995. You
For
had
every one example you've got, I've got like 99 others
99
on the left.
Right. Okay. Well, this isn't really helpful. We've got you just had the assassination of Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman, prominent Democratic politician. That
Killed
was
by
June
who?
14th.
A Democrat who thought she wasn't communist enough.
I don't know. There was a politically motivated attack against a Democrat. So don't I
by another Democrat.
I don't know if that's actually accurate.
Yeah,
Joseph.
look it up.
What do you mean? Like
it was a Sanders type who thought she wasn't left.
Maybe
she wasn't
maybe a populist type. This is the point. Like these old labels don't really quite apply. The point is you have in that case a Democrat politician assassinated for political
Democrat.
reasons.
Yes, by
another whatever.
Democrat.
Yeah, no, you know what, man? You just refuse. You're just as bad as those people on the other side. Yes, you are. You're just as bad.
If and when you
this
show
is not
me
good.
a reality,
It's always the
that.
people on the left. No, it's people on both
no,
sides.
Not always.
It's the division.
Not always.
Yes, it's not.
Always.
That's right. It's not always.
But
it's on both sides.
95% of it.
95%. No, I don't think so. I really. There's too much of this.
Democrats.
Too many excuses. Too much. You know, our side's always right. No, sorry. There's way too much polarization, and because you're getting this wraparound politically, ideologically now, where the far left is meeting the far right. A lot of these people are in the same camp. A lot of them actually from MAGA, where you've got socialists mixing with fascists on the outer edges of it, and then you've got conservatives in the middle. And I mean, I'm trying to create some new chart out of the whole thing, but you've got this crazy dysfunctional alliance of people that came together to actually build the critical mass to get Trump arrested. And you've got some pretty wackadoodle people in there, and you got a lot of crazy Antifa extremists on
who are not anarchists.
Right?
They may use anarchist tactics.
It's all bad.
It's all bad. More government,
and it's all bleeding together, and it's all overlapping, and people are going and the social media and the drugs and the emotional appeals to people to exploit people. Like it's just bad. The whole thing is off the charts.
You've
right
heard
now.
me. I agree with you to an extent about the bleeding, right? The libertarians I've coined, right? I try to avoid the left-right Democrat Republican. That's why I created the Constitutionalist paradigm. You're either a real Christian or you're a Matthew 23 viper, snake, blind guide, fake
Can
Christian.
I ask you about that? I want to ask you about that. The Constitutionalist.
Yeah, that just came out Saturday. Constitutionalist Politics 3 on Amazon exclusively. Yes.
Okay.
And a chapter is more gun laws. That point. The inanimate object isn't doing it. Cain killed Abel with a stone. David killed Goliath with a stone. Remember the walls of Jericho brought down by ban assault trumpets. No, it's the objects are used by people. Now, Jericho, God was involved, of course, but whether it's a knife or a gun, a baseball bat, a rope, whatever, it's not the object.
Yeah,
can
I know. Blah blah blah. I keep hearing it. It's not the gun. It's the person shooting. Whatever, man. Okay. My question that I was trying to ask is, Do you then not believe in the separation of church and state?
I believe in the First Amendment, my right to exercise there is a separation that the federal government may not create an official church of the government. We don't have a Church of England here. The states, the territories, depending on their constitution, like Massachusetts, used to have an official church. Virginia used to have an official church. The federal government can't, but there is not a separation of God from government.
Okay. Please let me ask you this. God, fine. Constitutionalist. That is to say, you therefore, and please explain, because this is a question, not a statement. But do you then therefore believe that you're a Constitutionalist, which means you're a Christian, and you believe that the U.S. Constitution is steeped in Christianity?
It's based in Judeo-Christian values. It is
therefore
biblical community, not worldly communism. Big difference.
So you believe then that Christianity is paramount within the Constitution, and that the United States is a Christian country, a Judeo-Christian country. Therefore, how can you reconcile separation of church and state and freedom of religion for people who say are Muslim or some other religion?
You're free to be a Buddhist based on the First Amendment, or a Muslim based on the First Amendment. You are free to do that.
Yes, but if your Constitution is based on Christianity, and therefore all your laws are based on Christianity, then your entire society overlays and legislates morality onto all citizens, including those who have other beliefs and practice other religions. Therefore, they are required to live by the moral code of Christians, of Christianity, or Judeo-Christian values, even if those things conflict with or contradict their beliefs and their belief system or their religion. Therefore, how can they truly have freedom of religion if you are imposing the coercion of the state through your legislation and your laws, through the Constitution and codified law, which is all based on and enforces Christian morality, even if in conflict with other religions, which then have to comply? So how can you therefore say you have freedom of religion if your laws and all of that is really predicated on Judeo-Christian values? I understand the concept of God, but as soon as you attach that to a denomination or a particular kind of God or a particular kind of religion, therefore, you are saying this is the kind of religion that our whole country is, and you therefore must comply with this, regardless of what you believe. Therefore, there really isn't true freedom of religion. How do you respond to that?
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's a valid argument. You do not get to be an atheist who says, I believe I am God and I believe I have a right to kill others. You do not get to do that here.
Yeah.
Absolutely, positively. That person who's claiming a religion and their religious right to murder others, indeed, is not allowed.
You don't need to attach a law regarding an issue like murder to a particular religion. That is simply
That's where it was
because
derived from, like it or not.
but because when you have
You also
when
don't
you
have
have
to
when you
live
have
here.
your when you have rights which are deemed to be God-given, and you lay those rights out in a constitution, they don't need to be denominational or attached to a particular religion, and therefore you don't need to say that it's Judeo-Christian values that predicate the entire Constitution. You just have to say that it's God, that they come from God, a place above man.
If you
that
want
God
the
is truly
right,
one that is
if
sovereign.
you want the right to
And so-
murder Jewish people, you don't have to live here. You can move to Iran. You can move to Gaza.
No, that's not the point. That is not the point.
And you
That's
don't
not the
have
point.
to be of faith. Penn of Penn and Teller is an atheist, but he's not a Christian-hating atheist.
But it's not about religion. It's about everyone's right to live. In fact, they talked about that with the Charlie Kirk killing today in that news conference. He said that, everyone has the right to life.
Liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
But that doesn't need to be attached to Christianity.
Inalienable life.
Doesn't have to be attached to Christianity.
And Penn of Penn and Teller says that also. Penn says, I don't have a right to murder you. You don't have a right. I don't get to steal your stuff. You don't get. He doesn't come at that from a religious point, but the point being is he has no problem recognizing historically that's where the laws came from. That's why Moses
Not necessarily. No,
and
not
the
necessarily.
10 Commandments
They do, but they don't have to. And within the Constitution, as soon as you, my point is, Joseph, but as soon as you attach the Constitution to a particular God, where whether it's these are Protestant values, these are Catholic values, these Protestants and Catholics have killed each other too.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
Christianity,
Ridiculous.
right? So that doesn't solve anything.
Doesn't
solve a thing.
Yes.
The point is that the answer to a lot of the division that we're seeing out there,
Christians who are doing that.
And respectfully, the answer to a lot of the problems we're facing right now is to remove denominational religions or attaching the concept of God to a particular kind of faith, and say that God is supreme and that your rights, these rights are all God-given, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're Christian, doesn't necessarily mean they're Muslim, because if you can impose your will with your religion, then later, if they come into power and they make change, they can do it to you. In fact, the safety for everyone is to remove all of that and say that we all have these rights. They come from a God. It can be whatever God you want. The point is that they do not come from man. They don't come from these politicians or bureaucrats.
Correct.
So separate the church from the state, then everybody is protected. You all have the same rights under constitutional law, codified law, legislation. You have all the same rights. But you don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to be a Muslim. You don't have to be. Everybody's treated the same. All religions treated the same. And
here's the problem.
Sure.
You're ignoring history. You don't get to rewrite history. Washington's flag says what on it? An appeal to heaven. Jefferson spoke about God's influence in the Constitution. What God? The Judeo-Christian God.
Except that in the States, but you do have separation of church and state, and because some people, I think, and I think that Joseph, respectfully, as a Canuckistanian, right? I think the problem in the US and in Canada right now is that people are overlaying way too much religion into everything, and it's amplifying a lot of the problems we're experiencing right now. And as a result, you get exactly what we saw today.
To a degree, I agree with you, and I argue that very thing in the book. I make not the third one, but an earlier one. Catholics and Protestants, not real Christians, murdering each other because Jesus never said, go forth and create 100 different churches. Catholic, Protestant, were supposed to focus on Christ, not minor differences in man manipulated doctrine. Man created the denominations, not Jesus.
It doesn't take away from the point that I've made at all. It's that the point is that as soon as you attach it to a particular religion, you are the concept of a God-given right. As soon as you do that, that becomes coercive, authoritarian in itself through the legislation, through the Constitution. The Constitution then becomes coercive against people that don't believe in those particular kinds of values. And it's a difficult thing. I mean, it's a complex question, whether you're talking about laws for strip clubs and how much nudity is allowed to be in there, or whether you allow pornography, or whether you, whether you, all kinds of sexual laws, or anything dealing with any kind of moral issue, right? And so now when you start to try to legislate morality, then it becomes, a complex, very complex thing. What's the age of legal consent for sexual activity? Where do you find that, right?
Yes.
Depends on your religious beliefs. If you're from another country, a different religion, maybe you think it's 14.
Right. You're trying to compare our government with the Taliban, and I wholly
I'm not trying to compare it. I'm just saying that,
but
in a free society, the way to protect everyone is to remove, a particular kind of God. It just has to be God. And because that is what actually limits what government is able to do.
I don't care if it's God, or Buddha, or what Buddhist tenets.
But you see, this is the point. You see, Islam, for instance, right? People who practice Islam
are
generally they believe that their religion is superior.
God.
They believe that they hang on.
Allah is Aramaic.
Let me finish my point. They believe that their religion is superior. We just saw people, right? We just ran some stuff a few weeks ago here from a protest in, I think it was Calgary, and the Muslim group, and they're like, you can see it on their signs. They think that their religion is superior, it's better. And I was like, as soon as people start thinking that their religion is better, you're on a kind of a confrontational path that, because that's not going to sit well with Christians. When you're saying that your religion is, and whatever Christian flavor it is, it doesn't sit well with them either. So you're instantly getting this in your society. This is bad. This is why you have separation of church and state. You need it in order to affect a peaceful outcome with this kind of dilemma.
Yeah. There has to be laws in imposition of certain things.
Of course.
Right? Indeed. Yeah. Now, the whole point in the tenet of Christianity, and here's where I have a problem with other denominations within Christianity, we are to want to teach, not dictate. But as you said, we are dictating.
As soon as you make it a Christian law,
yes,
that you're dictating.
But yet we're not forcing you to be Christian.
Well, in a way that you are. Yes, you are. As soon as you make it the law, you're forcing people to comply with your values and your morality.
That's a Buddhist tenet too. So am I forcing you to be a Buddhist? Buddhists believe you don't kill others.
But you can be a, but you see, you're missing the point. If you are if you are a Buddhist, you can be a Buddhist. Yeah, I'm a Buddhist, but I live in this country with Christian laws. Therefore, I can't really practice my religion completely or even on the same level as the Christians, because it's their laws that are imposed on me.
And if you feel that way, you can go to a Buddhist nation or an Islamic nation.
But if you're living in a free country, you shouldn't have to.
Islam tries to impose.
But if you're living in a free country, you should be welcome here. And if you are living in a free country where you have freedom of religion, which is also a right, then you shouldn't have to do any of that. You should be free to practice your religion, which is why even the Church of Satan is allowed to exist.
Thank you. You made the point. Even the Church of Satan is allowed to exist here,
except that it's at a certain point. And this is a dilemma.
Sacrifice.
It's a dilemma, right? It's a dilemma. But that's because you have these rights that are not denominational, that are set out in the Constitution, which is the right to life. Therefore, you can't just go around sacrificing babies.
Correct.
Right? So, but that doesn't necessarily need to be predicated on Christianity.
Jewish,
that's that everybody has the right to life.
Or Buddhist, yes.
And that right comes from God, whatever God that may be. Even if you want your God to be Satan, you can say, well, my rights come from Satan. Fine, I don't really care which God you chose when you're in court and you're fighting in the Supreme Court for a decision on something. It doesn't matter. I don't need to even know what God you think your rights come from. We just know that they do. They don't come from the judge. They don't come from Donald Trump. They don't come from anybody. The point is they come from a higher place.
I expect Rick to break into John Lennon. Imagine there's no hunger.
No, well, that would be nice.
No religion too. Yeah.
It's not about no religion, Joseph. It's about making sure everybody has the freedom to practice their religion without being oppressed. No, not really. To a point.
Every nation,
but everybody needs to be treated equally. And if
all 200 nations on the planet have red lines.
Yeah. We're gonna move on.
Matter.
We're gonna move on before Joseph and I get sucked into a much deeper, heated debate. I'm not heated at all. It's a very complex question.
It is complex. Absolutely,
positively. Frankly, putting Christitutionalist, it leaves a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Let me come back in a moment, and I think I honestly think that is what is at the root of a lot of the problems we're having right now, especially here in Canada with certain wings of people in different political groups. I'll be right back.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching. The world is watching. On TV, the entire world is watching. On social media. But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
Yeah,
I want to make a hyperbolic statement.
Really?
Know in advance.
You never do that.
Right? We found Rick Walker is a John Lennon atheist Soviet communist. who attacks Christianity today. Now, I know that's not true. I know you're playing devil's advocate, but I know that Media Matters might indeed actually call you that, because they would want to agree with you if that's what you actually were. I know you're just trying to make argument for argument's sake, and I've got no problem with that. I don't believe it when I say, but you sure sounded a lot like John Lennon atheist,
like a
Soviet
godless
communist.
Communist.
Yes, you sure sounded like it.
Well, I do believe in the separation of church and state, and I do believe what I said. I don't think that God should be in our constitutions, either in the U.S. or Canada, designated to be Christian. It doesn't need to be, and by removing that, I think that eliminates a lot of the systemic, built-in automatic friction.
Yeah,
that
I
erupts
understand what
between all the
you're
groups.
saying, but at the same time, like I said, whether you like reality or not, you don't get to rewrite history. We are what we are.
Well, you do have precedents for separation of church and state, including in Canada, and we are as much as here's the thing, Joseph. All these guys who say that the United States is a great Christian nation. I look around the U.S. I look at Canada. I look at all these Christians that want to get rid of all the Muslims, and I'm like, have you watched your language lately? Are you out there doing drugs? How much pornography is produced out in California every day? What am I looking at on X? What does
23 Christian snakes?
They're what?
Yes. Matthew 23, vipers, snakes, blind guides.
I'm just when I look at U.S. society, when I look at Canadian society, I just see a lot of hypocrisy.
And no, I don't want to expel all Muslims.
Thank you.
I am supporting Dr. Zuhdi Jasser for Congress in Arizona, a Muslim American born abroad as a Muslim, still a practicing Muslim, the author of Islam, called Reform, the Battle for the Soul of Islam. He's trying to be a Martin Luther within Islam. I don't want to expel all Muslims. I do want to expel madman dummy type radical Islamists. There is a difference.
Yeah, I want to expel anybody that wants to blow people up or kill people. Yeah, I'm not
Muslim or Christian.
Doesn't matter.
In terror strikes, I talk about
Crowbar Hilton for you.
Yoko, the supreme truth Christian cult that engaged in terrorism.
I don't think you have to go all the way to a cult. You might just have to look at, like, what's her name, Valentina Gomez from Texas, who just took a flamethrower to a Quran. How do you feel about that?
Too far. Too far. Absolutely too far.
Yeah. I agree. She's nuts. And
not a good Christian.
No, that's not a good Christian thing to do.
That's a Matthew 23 viper snake blind guide.
Yeah, clickbait artist, political opportunist. That's what she is, in my view.
Now that we've come around to something we can agree on,
we're absolutely we're very much aligned on things more than people might think.
No, we are. We may argue a little back and forth.
Discuss, debate.
But we are more alike than we are different. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, you're except you're way better looking than I am. That's
thank you.
I have to concede. I have to concede on the looks department for sure. So let's go on to Truth Social here and see what the Donald has been posting. He says, in honor of Charlie Kirk, a truly great American patriot, I am ordering all American flags throughout the United States lowered to half-mast until Sunday evening at 6 p.m.
which they already would have tomorrow for 9/11.
Yes. Another sad day upon us. And the great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. That was earlier. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me. And now he is no longer with us. Melania,
Yeah.
and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erika, and family. Charlie, we love you. And I don't know what this PDF is for. I'm afraid to open it up. It looks like it's attached.
Yeah,
to
you
it.
got to be careful.
I
Right.
know
And
it
I
is.
urge people, if you want to support what Charlie Kirk stood for, go to tpusa.com, sign up, donate.
We
If you
must
want
pray
to
for
keep
Charlie
that
Kirk.
youth movement going, conservative youth movement going, yes.
Let's pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot. A great guy from top to bottom. God bless him. And then there's this other story, which I haven't even had time to talk about yet tonight. But this, he says, what's with Russia violating Poland's airspace with drones? Here
Yeah.
we go. You're aware of
There's
that story, right?
NATO jets shot down Russian drones over
I think
Poland.
there were 5 that they shot down, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It was 5.
We have told you over and over, Putin isn't just about part of Ukraine. He wants all of Ukraine. He wants the Baltics back. He has said over and over, he wants the Soviet Empire back.
Yeah. He's taunting NATO, testing.
Yep.
And it's not the first time Russia has flown drones into
And I say
NATO
over
airspace.
and over, we should move most of what we have in Germany, one, to punish Germany for not spending what they're supposed to on NATO. 2, why should we keep rewarding their economy when they've been buying Russian energy? Move most of our troops to FOBs in Poland. Who wants us there? Who offered to spend $1 trillion to make bases for us in Poland? Let's shift to Poland.
So, yeah, Poland has a very capable military, probably if not one of, probably the most capable
Coming out of
military
World War
in
II,
Europe.
they learned. And after the fall of the Soviet Empire and they got their freedom back, they learned, indeed, peace through strength. They must be ready for the next war. They can't get caught with their pants down again.
Well, I wish we could get to a place where we had strength through peace too. But I think if you get there, you also have to be strong first and then keep the peace after and become even stronger by keeping the peace.
In my CTP3 book, there is, guess what? Let me turn quickly to the chapter 2, Russia-Ukraine War. Only bad options left. And that chapter is based on the discussions we've had in the past, right? My preferred position, Putin and every troop must be expelled from every inch of Ukraine, including Crimea. But it's not a realistic position. It's just not. That's not going to happen. So what can we do instead to get to some kind of stable peace? Right? There's what I want, and then there's realistic possibilities that we have to deal in.
Yeah, I don't think Russia's position in Ukraine is as strong as some people would have us believe. It never was. We were told by some of those pro-Russian influencers that I honestly was listening to early on that it would be over in a matter of weeks and Ukraine didn't stand a chance and and here we are 3.5 years later.
Right, Ukraine, like Poland, knew it was coming. They knew 100 years of history told them Russia will invade us again. They have over and over and over again.
Yeah, and here's perspective from, I would say, the left on MSNBC with regard to the Charlie Kirk assassination.
Then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt.
And that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
Turning Point USA has confirmed that he was shot. And there are a number of
then lead to.
So he's saying that, people upset with Charlie Kirk because of his conservative rhetoric.
People constantly calling him a Nazi, which again is retarded. Charlie Kirk wanted less government, not an overriding overall fascist government. So the left rhetoric has just been retarded on that point.
But don't you think that the Trump administration, as it stands now, has become rather authoritarian?
Perhaps particular aspects.
A lot of aspects.
But when we've pushed, it's been pushed, the pendulum has gone so far to the left. Like the crime issue, wanting to send in the guard. That is rather authoritarian-ish.
Pretty darn authoritarian when you got the military on your streets,
But he has that right as commander-in-chief in D.C. because it's a district, not a city.
He ain't
it's
stopping
not
there.
A state. He doesn't have
he
the
did it
right.
in L.A.
Right. Well, there were exigent emergency authority circumstances that allowed temporary. And again, they weren't there to enforce and make arrests. They were only there under posse
What about the people?
Federal buildings.
What about the people being rounded up by ICE and deported without due process?
Most of them have had their due process.
What about the ones that didn't?
They deserve a due process of some sort.
Yeah, they
Absolutely.
do, but they didn't get it, and they're not getting it. And some of them have been deported. What about the fishing boat that was blown out of the water with 11 souls on board this past week?
Congress authorized use of force on the war on terror. The cartels have been declared terrorist organizations.
They declared them
his
terrorist
authority.
Organization. Who gives them the authority to decide that
Congress
people on a fishing
did.
boat? Congress did. So Congress gets to make the rules for the world on international waters?
Only for the U.S.
Only for the U.S. So it's okay for the U.S. to go around blowing.
So let Venezuela declare war on us. Please go ahead.
Oh, I see. So might makes right.
In many cases, like it or not, it does.
So Venezuela doesn't have too bad for them. So from now on, anybody that Donald Trump or Marco Rubio deemed to be, or Pete Hegseth, if they say that fishing boat right there, they probably have drugs on it, blow it out of the water. Kill those people. That's okay.
Under congressional authority.
Who cares about Congress? Yes. This is international waters. Who says? Congress?
Congress gave the right to the president
what right?
American military.
What gives him the right? What gives him the right?
Sue us in international court then. Go ahead.
Yeah, except the United States is immune because the United States doesn't belong to the ICC. They don't join. They're not subject to the ICC rules, just like Russia. The two superpowers, they refuse to participate or allow themselves to be held accountable in any kind of an international court. They make up their own rules. Is that right? Even Rand Paul seems to think that the U.S. government has gone too far by blowing up that boat. How do you know? that the 11 people on that boat were all drug smugglers? How do you know that even if even one of those people on board was a victim of human trafficking?
Collateral damage.
Collateral damage. So that's okay.
Yep. It's not nice.
So you brought in aircraft carriers, destroyers, about what, a dozen U.S. warships, F-35 fighter jets, drones, and submarines to blow up a fishing boat. That's okay.
That's a little overkill. I think we should
strike
every cartel compound in Mexico.
Assuming that it was drugs on board, how do they know? Where's the evidence? They blew it up, whatever was on there, including the people. Is that right?
This is a Tet false flag? Is that what you're arguing now?
I'm saying no. I'm saying that they blew up a boat with human beings on board, and they didn't arrest anybody. They didn't give anybody a trial. They had all this firepower. They have all these, the most powerful military force in the world brings like a dozen warships, and you've got what, like a 30-foot fishing boat with a pointy end and some outboard motors on the back, and their approach to any kind of justice is to simply launch some sort of a missile into the frickin' thing and blow it out of the water.
And I say it's about damn time we take the war on drugs and the war on terror seriously.
Okay. So you just take the war, your war. So you're going to war with Venezuela then, is what you're doing.
Yes.
Okay. So how long then, Joseph, before you come to Canada and invade us?
Canada isn't shipping drugs.
Yes, we are, apparently, according to Donald Trump, which is a lie, but he's saying we are. He says it, he's been saying it repeatedly. So when are you invading us?
Through there, yeah.
When there's some fishing boats out on Lake Erie right now, I'm pretty sure, except it's dark. But wait till morning. There'll be lots more out there. You can blow those out of the water too. How about that?
Well, it definitely goes back to Prohibition days.
There might be drugs on board.
A lot of drugs and alcohol coming across the Detroit River. Yep.
You never know. Might have to blow us Canuckistanians to smithereens. Is that right? Is it right for Donald Trump to create this false narrative, this pretext for taking over Canada as the 51st state by saying that we're a major source of fentanyl flowing into the United States, which is just a blatant outright lie that they've made up, and they're perpetuating it through a false narrative that they're putting out through paid influencers up here in Canuckistan. It's all bullshit. I'm a little bit worried about it, frankly, especially when I see them blowing fishing boats out of the water with destroyers. Like, I love you guys over in the States, but this is flipping ridiculous. If they're doing that down there and they're using the exact same pretext up here, among others that you're probably not aware of because you're over on the U.S. side, so you're not being subjected to the same propaganda that I'm hearing up here, that a lot of people up here are hearing, and that they're using as an excuse to do whatever the hell they want to us up here. You don't know, my friend, what's going on up here because you're over there. You're being insulated from it. But I'm telling you right now, we are caught in a web of lies up here in Canada. And Donald Trump is using that to undermine the stability of our country. I never thought I'd see the day. And it's undermining my trust, frankly, and my confidence in the country that I love, the United States. I love you guys, but what is happening right now out of the White House is beyond disturbing. Your president wants to take over our country, dude.
Yeah. I think that's hyperbolic.
Yeah, you think it is, but it isn't, because that they're enabling the separatist movements up here. They're even funding it.
I worry about that. Yes.
Oh, yes, because it's very real. It's a very real thing. Yeah.
But you want Biden back? Would you rather have the
At this point, I might take him because at least he wasn't going to take over our bloody country.
No, he was just letting the whole world go to hell in a handbasket through ridiculous inflation, destroying us all, destroying the West, all of it economically. Us, you, England, France, Spain.
What do you think the tariffs are doing? What do you think the tariffs are doing to the world?
Balancing,
I spoke balancing.
Yeah.
I just spoke to a trucker who's had no work up here for over a month. Is that balance? That doesn't seem like balance to me.
Speak to truckers that have been out of work here in the U.S. and they might think it is. If you tariff us, we're going to tariff you. It's pretty fucking simple. Balance.
We had balance. We had the USMCA. We had the NAFTA trade deal before that. We had agreements. We still do, frankly, which still cover 85% of the trade between our two countries. But then Trump comes along and does this. And not just to us. He's doing it to all the U.S. allies. And making up all these numbers. What was it? He said he attracted, what was it, $13 trillion or whatever the number was of new investment. That's half your GDP. It's a lie. He just makes shit up. That's not even possible. He just makes it up. In fact, at that tech dinner with the social media,
guy.
right? And then he leans over and he has Zuckerberg. He said they were going to invest $600 billion or whatever the number was. And then he goes, I didn't know what number you wanted me to go with, Donald. Yeah, because they're making this shit up. And when he doesn't like the jobs figures that come out, the job stats, he just fires the woman that's in charge of delivering the stats. He shoots the messenger.
Because
literally,
the stats weren't anywhere close to being right. She should be fired.
According to the guy who lies about everything. No, you're bleeding jobs.
They just revised them down. 8 months of that was Biden's term. They lied then.
He's lying about everything, my man.
To be fired.
And he's talking about. When my economic policies finally kick in, it's going to be the gold. They're already kicking in, man, and they're just starting. And you're starting to get you're going to get massive inflation. It's coming. We're all losing. You think that you're going to win? We're all losing as a result of this. And you know why? Because my wife ordered a new harness for my dog. That's why. It's true. And you know why this is the problem? Because it arrived at our house. I didn't know she bought this thing. It's for my dog. And it says, it's got his name on it. It says Cosmo. It's all customized and everything. Delivered right to my front door. And you know how much she paid? Delivered.
No idea. I don't have
$5. $5.
She ordered it from Temu. My sister's the Temu queen.
Yeah,
cheap shit comes from
right.
China. Yeah,
I was actually going to bring it and show it to people on the show tonight. $5.
Which is why all the jobs have left Canada and the U.S. to go to Canada or to China.
Yeah. But that's why, because it's like, how the hell do they do that? There's more than $5 worth of material in this thing. Not that it's the greatest quality, but it's adequate, right? You can use it. I wouldn't recommend it as like a great dog harness, but it's $5 with his name on it.
My sister is the Temu queen here. Yes.
I've never ordered anything from Temu, but I'm like, where did you get that? Temu? Oh, okay. So this is why it reminds me of when I was a kid. One of my first, exposures to economic concepts, right? I had a high school teacher. I can't remember his name. I can't remember my teacher's names, but I remember what he was talking about. He said that this was back in the 70s when Japan was the big evil economic villain that the United States wanted to attack, right?
Yeah.
The cars, right?
If we made cars worth a damn in the 70s, it wouldn't have happened.
Well, yeah. So he said, he pointed out that the Japanese were killing us with kindness. And what his point was, he looked at, like, say, take a look at a Harley Davidson. You have to get on the thing and you have to kickstart the thing like 7 times, and then it fires up and it rumbles and it's like blah, 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 and it's leaking oil everywhere, and you look tough driving it, but it smells like gas. And he says, or you can buy yourself a Honda or a Yamaha, and you turn the key, it's electric start, starts right up, it's reliable, it lasts twice as long, costs half as much, right? Because the quality is much higher. They're killing us with kindness, killing us with quality. And it's true. That's what happened in the 70s. And you know what they did? You know what the United States did, and Canada? We imposed trade restrictions, tariffs. And you know what the result of tariffs is? It protects inefficiency. It protects bad quality. And because it makes the imports.
It can.
No, it does. It does, and it did.
But U.S. and Canadian cars
it's an economic
got a
fact.
lot better over.
Oh, it took a long time. I remember in the 70s, Chrysler almost went out of business, right? They did go bankrupt. And then there was the Lee
And
Iacocca,
our government
right?
bailed them out. Yes.
Right, with a loan, which was the right thing to do at the time because it was still an American company at the time.
It's not
was.
now, but
no,
yeah,
all these
then,
companies
yeah.
are global in scope.
Yeah.
They're multinational corporations
Yeah.
and have been since the 90s.
But-
so the point was that this exchange, I lost sort of my train of thought, but the tariffs protected the auto companies and their inefficiencies, so that it made the imports, the Toyotas and at the time they were called Datsuns, not Nissans, and they were coming in, and they made them more expensive for consumers to protect the automakers. But not only did it protect the automakers and allow them to continue to produce inferior products that were not as fuel efficient, didn't last as long. I remember the old Chryslers at that time, like the mid to late 70s, rusted out faster than you could pay them off. And then it also allowed them to put their prices up. Because when the imports were made more expensive through the tariffs, they didn't just continue to sell their products at a lower price. Because the competing product from the other country was now more expensive, they increased the prices and their profit margins on the products they were producing domestically. So you were getting still an inferior product that cost you more. Plus, if you wanted the alternative from a company that was in another Japanese product, you had to pay even more for that, which was inflationary. And so it just put more money into the pockets of the executives and the shareholders at the auto companies, while at the same time ensuring that you created this lag in improved efficiencies and improved quality, because you rewarded bad behavior with those companies. That's what ended up happening.
Eventually, though, Nissan and Toyota and Volkswagen and all them created U.S. plants and Canadian plants so they would be made here. Again, it's a short-term,
not so much Hyundai,
negative for a longer-term change.
And then Hyundai,
a short-term,
and then Hyundai finally came too. It took Hyundai a long time to come, and they just opened that plant in Georgia, and then ICE came and arrested all the people.
A bunch of South Koreans that were here illegally, yes.
Except a lot of them weren't here illegally. They were here on visa waivers.
That shouldn't have been given. Right.
Well, they were.
Because the point is
because they had skilled labor that they couldn't fill those positions with locally or domestically for these jobs where they needed. I think these people came in and worked for a month or two or whatever it was. I don't have all the details, but I do know that not all those workers were actually there illegally, and yet they still got thrown in the slammer. So again, it seems a little authoritarian to me these days when you're sending. It's not a good look on the U.S. I think people are going to look back on these times, Joseph, and it's going to be these are dark days for America. Unfortunately, as much as I was a huge Trump fan in a lot of ways, especially during Trump 1.0, when you had less regulation, he was reducing taxes. If you wanted to make some new regulation for an industry, what was it? You had to get rid of 4, was it, or 5? Remember that?
In place again now.
Yeah, I know. So all that stuff was good. That was good. And I'll tell you what the result of that was with regard to the economy, even over here in Canada. because of that, the U.S. economy was booming, especially during the first 2 years of the Trump administration 1.0. And then because of that, you had more oil and gas drilling going on in the U.S. with U.S. companies. And you had more economic activity with all the car plants on both sides of the border. You had all of that going on. And the tool and die shops up here, which, there's a bunch of them in Windsor, and there's some just about a half an hour from where I sit. And they were all humming along, and they were getting lots of work. And the U.S. was like enjoying, really at the time, I would say unprecedented economic growth and prosperity
until the
pandemic,
hysteria,
right?
Yes.
And then that all happened. But because of the policies that were in place, Trump 1.0 from the beginning, I was like, that's how you do it. That's great. And you guys were getting more prosperity. We were more prosperous. We were both benefiting. We had the new trade deal that Trump signed off on, that he negotiated, the USMCA, which was the new version of the North American Free Trade Agreement. He called that at the time the best trade deal ever. It seemed to work for everybody. Everybody's making money. Lots of jobs going around. The economy's in both countries better, more so on your side than on our side, because we didn't have corresponding reductions in government regulations and taxes, but you did. But as a result, we still benefited. We contributed to your GDP, frankly, with our productivity, because we were both growing. It was mutually beneficial. But that's not what's going on now. Now he's penalizing everybody, beating the shit out of everyone. I'm going to tariff you and tariff that and tariff this, and it's on again, off again. Everything's upset. There's no stability. You don't know whether he's coming or going. One day the tariffs are on, the next day they're off. He's pulling these levers back and forth. I just spoke to this trucker, hasn't really had any loads in a month, right? Some truckers still working, a lot of them not. That's just one industry. There are all kinds of industries up here that are, suffering as a result of this. As a result, I'll tell you what's going to happen. And it's happening right now. Canada, like a lot of countries, we're pivoting and we're saying, you're not a reliable trade partner anymore. So in the long run, we're not going to be able to deal with you. So we're going to do more business with Europe. We're going to do more business with Asia. You don't give us any choice. We're not just going to sit up here and take it. We're not going to let Donald Trump kick us in the teeth every day. We're going to do whatever we have to do to survive. We'll ship our lumber from here. We'll ship our oil there. We'll do whatever we got to do.
Should be Canada first.
Well, we don't, but it doesn't mean that we can't engage in mutually beneficial trade. But if Donald Trump is going to kick us in the nuts, right?
I do
we're
agree,
going to
and
go somewhere else.
Always agree.
Yeah.
If you say something, do it. You don't keep delaying and changing the plans.
He does.
I
every
agree
day.
with you. There is that economic uncertainty is worse.
Oh, it's terrible. And it's not just bad for us. It's bad for you too. It is. Your productivity is dropping. Your inflation is increasing. And he says that he's reducing taxes, but he's not, because the tariffs are a tax. So even if he reduces the taxes over there, he's nailing everybody over there with a hidden tax, because the increased cost of the goods coming in, and it's exponential. It's all through your supply chain now, because it's not just a tariff on the end product good. It's a tariff on every input into every good produced in the United States, which makes the United States non-competitive globally. You're not going to be able to compete with the Chinese, who just shipped that harness to us for $5, right? Because you can't produce it for that. I don't care what you do over there. There's no way you guys can do that now.
In the West can. No nation in the West can. Not Canada, not the US, not the UK, not
we're gonna be able to do her. I'll tell you how. Mass production, economies of scale, and even AI. But you guys over there, you ain't gonna be able to do her, because you know why, you Americanos? Because all your inputs are gonna be way too expensive, because he's tariffed the shit out of everything. So we're just going to go to countries where we don't have those kinds of tariffs in place, unless, of course, Donald Trump might just say, we don't like it if you do business with China. China stands, so we're going to invade you and make you the 51st state. Of course, your $37 trillion debt might be a bit of an issue too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's probably why he's got his eye on Alberta and the oil.
Quickly, quickly on our way to 40 or 45 trillion because the one big fraud bill was still full of pork, and the rhinos in Congress and Trump hasn't said he would veto it, are talking about another continuing resolution omnibus bill with all the pork in it rather than shut down the government.
Sure. Well, yeah.
You're not going to get any complaint or pushback that, yes, our deficit and debt is still out of control here. And Trump is still part of that problem because he won't veto anything.
What I was thinking? I was thinking if the U.S. could just get rid of Maduro in Venezuela and then bring in all your U.S. oil companies down there and, well, just think of all the money that Trump and his oligarchical friends could partake in, and how much money that might bring into the U.S. economy to help pay off that $37 trillion debt. I just wonder, does that have anything to do with blowing a fishing boat out of the water? It's a question.
I don't doubt at some point we will invade Venezuela.
Unfortunately, and I think that that's wrong.
And we shouldn't. We should only support air cover for Brazil to invade Venezuela and free the Venezuelan
I think you should stay away and just leave them alone. And if you're worried about the drugs, secure your damn borders and stop blaming Canada. Okay? Like, take care of your damn borders. If you don't want drugs coming in, stop the damn drugs. If that's what the real issue is. And stop blowing people up, stop killing people, and tell Donald Trump to stop acting like the big bully that the rest of the world believes the United States is. Tell him to be a nicer guy and start sticking up for little guys.
Tell him to bend over to everybody else like every other president did is what you want.
No, the United States.
Yes,
the United States.
Want a sucker, not a president.
He wants to pull. He's pulling back from the rest of the world. He's engaging in degrowth. He's shrinking the United States. The United States is no longer going to be. It no longer really, in many respects, is the leader of the world. He's tanking your economy because he's taking the U.S. out of the leadership role for the world. He's putting the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency in jeopardy. You're probably going to lose that. And at which point you don't have any leverage, certainly not with any tariffs or anything like that. Everything he's doing is undermining the U.S. position globally. And you can't afford to do it because if you shrink, you're never going to pay off your $37 trillion debt, let alone $45 trillion. You won't have the economic means because the United States is going to be all condensed into itself, and it won't be trading globally. All these other countries around the world, they're going to be trading with each other and not with you guys. You think that you control everything, but you don't, because countries like, you take India and China alone, that's 40% of the world population, man. 40%. You got 300 million in the US. They got billions in those other countries. That's where the demand is. That's why General Motors for the last decade hasn't been investing in the United States. They've been investing in plants in China because that's where they've been selling the cars and making profits. Because Trump doesn't understand these companies. They're not even American companies anymore, haven't been for a long time. They're multinationals. He wants to bring them back, but all the investment, all the money, it's actually from all over the world. Stellantis, that's Chrysler. They have all these other brands in there. That's actually not American at all anymore.
Correct.
Not at all. Even GM, it's a global company. Ford, global company. Lots in Europe, lots in Asia. And GM, they've been spending tons of money to build factories in China, selling cars, making profits in China, not in the US. This is a problem, dude. You've got a problem with your president. He needs to rethink his economic policies. And I'm just telling you, he needs to do it not just for himself, but for us too, because we want to work with you. We want to help you, and you should be trying to help us so we can help you to build a better powerhouse economy between all of us. Doesn't mean we have to be the 51st state. We have to get back to to the roots
and
of
I
the
don't
auto
want
industry.
you to be, because you got too many liberal voters. We don't need liberal 51st state.
Regardless, we have always been certainly since Confederation here.
We are going to communist. You're way far ahead of us in the communist.
That word's thrown around way too much, because we are not a communist country.
Not entirely yet.
No, we're not.
Well,
we are not a communist country. We have socialism up here. There's no question about that. But we are not a communist country,
which is always
and we are not.
And
I'll tell you that our taxes are higher than they are in the U.S. But we're not really that far removed from what you guys have down there, and our standard of living up here is very comparable in many respects and overall. And I can give you a lot of metrics to prove that. As I've looked at it a lot, but we need to really, and Donald Trump needs to rethink this, but he won't, because he's an economic moron. He really needs to look at the roots of the auto industry. He says, we stole your auto industry. No, we didn't. We built it together from the beginning, even as Henry Ford was not inventing the assembly line, but making use of it and perfecting it, right? He had operations on both sides of the border in Windsor and Detroit. Model T production, right? We built McLaughlin Buick. We had, the Gray Motor Company used to be here in my town. This was like in the early days of the auto industry, there was over 100 different car companies. Slowly over time, they condensed. They went down into the big three, but even then, mutually beneficial industry on both sides. I remember going to the Detroit North American International Auto Show back in like the 80s. And I remember going to, speeches and Q&As with the auto industry executives. And I remember the CEO of Ford, I think it was at the time, sitting up there saying, as far as they were concerned, they just treated Canada and the US as one market, one industry, not as separate markets, because we were so integrated through the auto industry and we built it and grew together. And that's where we need to get, as far as I'm concerned, that's where we need to get back to. None of this, F you, I'm taking all your factories, and F you, us first, screw you. It's not a zero-sum game, man. If we work together, we'll build more overall for everyone. If we beat each other up, it's not productive. It's not efficient. It doesn't make any sense to me. This is like, we'll sell more cars up here. I do work for the Ottawa Gatineau International Auto Show. He hasn't been able to put that show on up in Ottawa since the pandemic, because all those shows of that size have basically been canceled since then. And now with the tariffs, when it looked like there might be a show maybe this year, no, I just got the word, no auto show again this year in Ottawa. That hurts everybody. That hurts your auto industry. You're not selling the cars up here, man, because of his tariffs. That means fewer cars produced. We're going to buy less up here. That means you're going to sell less. That means you can take our factories away, but overall, those companies still going to make less profit because we're not going to be involved. We're not going to be consuming anything. It's like Henry Ford said. He said, he wanted to pay his workers, and he did above the going rate, because he wanted to make sure that his workers made enough money to buy the product they produced.
His own damn product. Yeah.
Right. Same damn thing. So you help us, we help you. We build here, you build there. We trade back and forth. It's a bigger market overall. Now we've got these auto shows back in business. That's stimulating everything. The car dealers up there making sales. And that was all part of the same circuit. Like a lot of the displays at the North American International Auto Show that they had down there, they would come up to Toronto and then they go on to Ottawa, and we'd put the displays on in the big convention center there, and all the car companies would come. It hasn't happened, and it's not going to happen. And I don't know if it's ever going to happen again, ever, because of this. What good is that, Joseph? How does that help you guys? So what are we going to do? We're going to do more business with Europe. We're going to, I guess, sell more cars to Europe. Or we're going to reduce, we're going to do more business with BYD out of China. That's no good for you. I went to Costa Rica, and even before all this was what, a year ago when I was down there? I guess. Can't losing track of time. You go around, you don't see any Fords, you don't see many GMs. I saw lots of BYD, Chinese cars. I see lots of cars from Europe, Mercedes, you know. I see Stellantis, some Stellantis products not produced in the U.S. American cars, like, you guys aren't selling them out of the country.
And any of this has to do with Charlie Kirk?
Nothing. It's got everything to do with Charlie Kirk, actually, because it's all political. And this is all the stuff that's driving the division and the friction and the uncertainty and the anger as people are facing economic hardship. And your president wants to take over our country while he's getting ready to invade another one, calling himself the peace president. And at the same time, we're seeing that he's rejecting NATO while NATO planes are shooting down Russian drones over Poland. And he's saying that, no, he's agreeing with Russia, saying, oh, no, they don't really want to take over the rest of Europe, when they clearly do. Probably. This is not cool, man.
Who's got NATO paying 5%? The only president to get them to do that?
Well, maybe. But even so, that's because he's pulling back.
That's weakening NATO.
I don't know. Well, he has weakened NATO because he's undermined the trust of those countries. They don't trust him anymore. So up here in Canada and other countries, which country just canceled the F-35 contract? We may cancel it with you as well. Because why would we buy your F-35 fifth generation fighter jets if we can't trust you and you can just turn them off with the flip of a switch? And if you're not going to engage with us on trade and share, like, we actually produce some components for the F-35, but if he wants to take all that production, like it's components for the tail section, I believe, because we helped develop that jet, actually, as other NATO countries did, as I recall. But in any event, if he doesn't want to trade with us, and we're not going to exchange in mutually beneficial trade even on that front, then we'll buy the Gripen. And then we don't have to worry about you guys. And then when you invade us, I'll put the barbecue on and you can come and we'll have chicken kebabs or burgers or whatever you want. Okay, but I'd rather you didn't, because I don't think we need to be the 51st state.
I'd rather we didn't also.
Yeah. So stop it. It's write a Substack and send it to Donald Trump and tell him just this will be the headline. Stop picking on Canada. They're not bad people. They actually kind of love you. Please stop, Donald. Can you write it any way you want? I'm just encouraging you. I'm not telling you what to say.
Well, he's not going to listen to me, so.
Yeah, well, me either, obviously, because I'm like, please stop. And he's like, no, I think you should be the 51st state. We're going to do it. First you, then Greenland.
How many times have I said, I am not a Trump cultist?
That's true. You're not. And that's why you're still here and we're still friends. And we will be. I just saying. And it does have everything to do with Charlie Kirk. Because it just shows how crazy the politics is right now.
Yeah. And again, not a Trump cultist. I don't agree with him on everything.
Yeah.
And I just had a conversation with somebody at a doctor's office this afternoon, right? Eliminating the penny. Dumb idea. Mark of the beast. You're a unwitting idiot for those wanting to move to an all-digital cashless society, reining in the mark of the beast where government can turn on. Canada has really been bad at that, about deplatforming, debanking people. How much easier will it be when it's all digital? Trump is stupid on that, and he doesn't have anyone smart enough around him to tell him otherwise.
He's all in. Yes, he does. He's not looking for somebody to tell him otherwise. He's all in on AI. He's all in on this digital expansion. He's all in on digital surveillance. That's what this whole thing. I watched that dinner where he's sitting there with Bill Gates on one side, Mark Zuckerberg on the other. These are guys who are like banning him from social media. They banned his account. They're going to throw him in jail and blah, blah, blah. And now he's sitting there having dinner, and old Zuckerberg is like, oh, Donald, we're going to spend 600 billion dineros invested in the economy. And he's like, I didn't know what number you wanted to go with. Like, they're breaking bread together. They're best of friends now. Like, what is this? Is a ruse. These guys, they're all working together, man. This whole thing, we're going to ban you. You're banded forever. Now he's back in the White House, and they're all best of friends again. Or never, well, best of friends now. And actually, it was Facebook that got him elected the first time, if you think about it, because they had all the Cambridge Analytica data that they used on Facebook to target the demographics with their campaign. It was Facebook that got him elected the first time. That was Zuckerberg. So Zuckerberg helped him get elected in Trump 1.0. Then second time, well, that didn't work out. But I think a lot of that was performative. Like, think about it, man. All the drama, all the court cases over and over and over again. And what actually ended up happening? He never went to jail. Nothing ever happened. He's just, and now all this Epstein stuff. Like, I don't know, man. It just seems like we're watching a movie. I hate to say that, but it's, it seems like that.
Bread and circus.
Well, yeah, it's a show, isn't it? And all these people in the Trump administration, they're all performers. All either actors or reality TV show people, or they've been like high profile influencers. Judge Janine's in the team. Yeah. Pete Hegseth was on Fox. Who else you got there? Even RFK Jr. He's been like a big celebrity media type figure, right? You've got who else is Donald Trump himself? The Apprentice for how many years? And he's just a front man. You got you just get Dan Bongino, big, podcaster, conservative guy. Cash Patel, all these people.
Slick talkers.
Yeah.
Like Blondie,
Yeah.
Pam Bondi.
And
lot of talk.
That's right. I know.
No action.
And did you see the video was it yesterday or the day before, of Pete Hegseth flying into Puerto Rico? And I always mess that up. So he's going into Puerto Rico, and he lands. I don't know, man. Like, they've got the video, and he gets off the chopper and lands. I guess it was on an aircraft carrier or whatever. And he's got that, the headphones on, and he's marching up to I think the captain of the ship or whoever it was. I'm just looking at him like, no, it's not a convincing performance. He doesn't look right in the outfit. And he doesn't look like he's that tough. Why do I feel like Pete Hegseth, if it came down to a battle, he'd be like over in the corner someplace crying like a baby, asking for somebody to come and save him and take him home to his mommy. I just don't know. It wasn't a convincing. He didn't play the role convincingly. He's not the right guy for the job.
Yeah. And how much did Kamala pay you to spout those points?
Well, I mean, I don't like her laugh. She cackles too much. Right? I don't know if that's a valid political criticism, but it was pretty annoying. She was pretty annoying too. And Biden, he's completely out to lunch, right? Sleepy.
Yeah. Well, as you can see, I'm yawning here. I need to go to bed.
I understand. I know. I put all these really robust arguments out there, and then you just can't counter them. So you have to sign off.
I'm just not even bothering. I'm just not even bothering. I was here to talk about Charlie Kirk.
Fair enough. I digress for the last hour.
Yeah.
So
things are in flux still. Policies are still in flux. Let's see where we are next year. I'm not even going to bother to argue this stuff. Let's wait till next year and see where we are.
I have a lot of shows to do between here and next year, and I think so, there may be developments in Venezuela, but much sooner than that, based on what I'm seeing.
Most likely.
And so, what? Bring me back to Charlie Kirk as we kind of get to the end here tonight. What else you got to say?
Just 31, wife, 2 kids, politically assassinated.
Yeah, well, I think that it's
and it wasn't by a guy on MK Ultra.
It was horrific. Human being lost his life. It's 250 years of U.S. history, and it's come to this. And it shows
you might not have to worry about us invading you because we may have a civil war here soon.
We I think are on our way here as well, my friend, as a result of all of this, and it's not good. And that's the other reason I don't think we need to join the 51st state, because I don't think it's any better down there. It's no better up here. It's just we've got our problems, you've got your problems. A lot of the problems are shared, and a lot of it is just political, and it's too much division, too much anger, too much emotion, and I think people are being sometimes too manipulated. And it's just creating an environment of violence and taking us to the brink of civil war. And we don't want it. I don't want it. I do not want it.
It will break out here for sure if the left keeps getting violent. Eventually, people on the right will, when we're the ones with most of the guns, will push back.
I think to some degree you already have been. And maybe if we all recognize that there's a problem all the way around, then when we get to that point, then maybe we'll find solutions. Until then, I think we're still going to see deterioration. Let's just pray for peace. How about that?
We certainly need to, because, but at the same point, how do I coexist with those who want to kill me? How do I?
Start by not getting sucked into the abyss. Don't become the very thing that you say you oppose. Take the high road.
That, right. And I advocate for that. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. I posted on social media. Don't any of you dare react and respond violently. It's what CNN and the MSNBCs want, so they can make the story all about that, and Charlie Kirk goes away from their airwaves. It's all about it's like everything now. Like any murder. Gun control, no, criminal control. How about the right wing is pouncing on this crime. You're fucking right, we're pouncing on it, because how about we fucking lock up the criminals? That lowers crime. That's fucking common sense.
Yeah, just you won't find peace in America through more violence.
Correct. Yeah.
What song you want me to leave you with tonight?
What's his face? Leo. I think you should leave with Leo again. I think I last on, and
I don't really want to create more division. Okay, I've given him the attention that he deserves.
I love that song.
You love that song?
Though. That was
really
great. It was clever.
I think we made two actually.
Yeah, there were two of them.
Yeah. Which one? The one where he's a liberal, where he actually admits to voting liberal?
Yeah, that one, right. The
That
one he actually admits to voting for Trudeau, exactly.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Like, I didn't make that stuff up.
Right, yeah.
Those are real clips of him. Yeah, Mr. I hate Trudeau voted for the guy. That's true. What a hypocrite. Anyway, no, pick something else.
Well, we have some of those here too. They're called what was that? The Tiki Torch group, the Rhino Republican group, the ones that protested Governor of VA Virginia Youngkin. I forget what group they are, but yeah, the frauds. Oh, they hate Biden. They hate Biden, but they probably voted for the communist.
You know what? I haven't run for a while since we're talking about high prices.
Well, we got the War of the Worlds thing. Have you got anything related to that? You got a promo for that yet?
No, I've been working on it. It's a big job, actually. So I apologize for the delay, folks. But there's a lot of production work that's going into it, and
I was brilliant, of course, in recording my parts.
Yeah, I have to record some other people still too. That's part of the delay, but I'm getting to everybody slowly but surely.
I'm joking, people. I don't.
No, you were awesome.
I was mediocre at best.
Stellar. No,
mediocre.
It's really good. You're gonna love it. Your performance, I would say,
given
so
the
far.
Given the tongue-in-cheek nature of some of what you're doing, I fit okay.
Oh, it's
acting. It was not very good acting.
It's very appropriate.
I'm an author, not an actor.
It was very appropriate. So, how about, since we're talking auto industry, we're talking about
that there's that. Oh, I forget what one you had on that. The Corvette thing.
The little black vet.
There we go.
All right, some American muscle. We'll leave you with that tonight, folks, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. 7. What day is tomorrow?
9/11.
Is it? But what day of the week is it? I lose track.
It's Thursday.
Thursday.
Never forget. 9/11 tomorrow.
I have a big, really, really cool guest coming up on Saturday. I'll let you all in on it tomorrow. I'll tell you who. 7 p.m. Eastern on the
Maverick News. Is that where you were? I don't know. On the flip side.
There you go. On the flip side.
Leading the witness, and the witness screwed it up.
See you tomorrow, everybody.
Well, she's sitting in the driveway all dressed in black. Got that slick paint, you know she got the knack. Chrome glimmers in the moonlight, like a star on the rise. When I slide behind the wheel, I feel alive. Oh, I can't deny, got the little black vest, she's my midnight ride. Rolling down the highway with my girl by my side. Fast as a whisper, smooth as a dream. In my little black vet, we're a rock and roll team. Leather seats and a rumble that shakes the ground. With the top down low, we're lost in the sound. That engine growls like a lion's roar. Every mile we take, I just want more. Got the little black vet, she's my midnight ride. Rolling down the highway with my girl by my side. Fast as a whisper, smooth as a dream. In my little black vet, we're a rock and roll team. Oh, the world slows down when we hit that street. The wind in our hair can't be
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.